South this week with primaries scheduled tomorrow in two ultra-conservative states, Mississippi and Alabama. Hawaii and American Samoa will also be holding caucuses.
I vote for that assignment.
Yeah, wouldn't that be lovely?
Just saying.
Talk about a heat wave. Romney's got an interesting ally today. Did you hear about this? Comedian Jeff Foxworthy campaigning with him in Alabama and Mississippi. Rick Santorum and Newt Gingrich both want to get rid of the other to become Romney's challenger. Santorum winning Kansas, the caucus Saturday, and sending a gentle message to Gingrich.
The speaker can stay in as long as he wants, but I think the better opportunity to make sure that we nominate a conservative is to give us an opportunity to go head-to-head with Governor Romney at some point, and hopefully that will occur sooner rather than later. But we'll wait and see what the speaker decides.
Let's talk about the South. From Chicago, conservative columnist Lenny McAllister. From Washington, roll call political reporter David Drucker. And here in New York City, Democratic strategist John Hlinko. Thank you so much for being with us. All right, David, I'm going to start with you. Romney's got Jeff Foxworthy in his corner, better than one of his latest appeals in the South that we're going to listen to and then talk about.
Well, I'm learning to say y'all, and I like grits, and strange things are happening to me.
A little awkward there, right? But we know that he's awkward. Everybody's talking about that. But none of the candidates are appealing to the Southerners. What can they do in order to appeal? David.
Well, I think that Southerners are not as unsophisticated as some people think. They're going to respond to appeals for jobs, lower gas prices, foreign policy, just like voters anywhere else. Clearly, they're more conservative than some voters in other parts of the country, but they're concerned about the same things. And so I think that's why you see a really tight race in Alabama and Mississippi, surprisingly tight, given that the expectations for Mitt Romney are not good. We figure this should either be Santorum or Gingrich territory. But there's a good chance there could be a surprise this week. This has been a volatile race overall, and we might be surprised on Tuesday yet again with Romney finishing surprisingly strong. Even if he doesn't win, if he can walk away with delegates, he continues his sort of path here that's slow but steady, and it doesn't really then change things. And I think for Gingrich and Santorum, it's important for them to do well, given that they've said that this is where they will do well. And so for the first time in a while, the expectations are reversed, with Romney not necessarily needing to do well and the others having to have something to show for Tuesday night.
All right, John, all of this talk of appealing to Southerners actually might not matter, right? Senator Lindsey Graham asked if Santorum and Gingrich should drop out, said this. We're going to put it up for everybody. Mathematically, this thing is about over. Oh, let's listen to it. I actually have her saying it.
Mathematically, this thing is about over, but emotionally it's not. I think everybody believes if I could just get a one-on-one with Romney, I could win this thing. But if Romney does well, wins either Mississippi or Alabama and wins Illinois, then I think it's virtually impossible for this thing to continue much beyond early May.
Excuse me, I should have said him saying it. So mathematically, is it over?
Well, you know, he's got a very different math from me. I mean, from my perspective, this could go on for a while. Now, the reality is Romney is in a commanding position, and he's, you know, building up delegates, delegate by delegate, and he is pretty far ahead. But the others are far from mathematically eliminated. If Gingrich were to drop out, and I think that is more likely unless he can win both Alabama and Mississippi, and if Santorum can take on Romney head-to-head, the math is, it's a long shot, but he's certainly not eliminated at this point.
All right, Lenny, I want you to weigh in on that. Do you think mathematically it's over?
No, it's not mathematically over. We heard the same thing after Florida. Once Romney rolled through Florida and got Nevada, it was, oh, this is all but over but the screaming and the shouting. And then all of a sudden, Rick Santorum took 3 states in one night. This is something that's going to go on for a little while as long as Mitt Romney can't be comfortable in his skin, can't talk to conservatives, and can't make a 50-state strategy. He has a 50-state structure, but he doesn't have a 50-state strategy. Going into the South and saying y'all for somebody that was a governor of Massachusetts that grew up in Detroit is not a good thing to do. And if he's doing this in March of 2012,
Lenny? You don't think that was endearing?
As somebody that lived in North Carolina for 10 years, no. It was bad, it was horrible, it was fake. And that's what's been the criticism of Mitt Romney, that he's fake, that he can't connect to people. So what does he do? He does something that comes comes across as fake, that's not really connecting with folks. He has to change that, and until that changes, it's still anybody's game, especially if you see a surprise on Tuesday or you see a surprise towards the end of the month here in Illinois or in April with some of the big contests, including Pennsylvania.
You know what, guys? I want you to all weigh in on this final answer, and I'm not going to give you just one or another choice. The final question is that there are rumors this morning that Gingrich asked Perry to be his vice president. I want you each to weigh in on whether this is a good move, bad move, too late, or who cares. John?
I think the thing that I'm looking out for, the really crazy move, what if Gingrich decides to run as an independent? That could be wild, and I think it could happen.
David?
Who cares?
Lenny?
Good move. If he wins both southern states and gets back into the mix, that will be a difference maker.
You think that makes a good ticket there?
Well, it will invigorate the conservative base and the establishment that doesn't like Gingrich but was in love with Perry before Perry had his gaps in the fall.
All right, David, John, Lenny, thank you for joining us this morning. We're going to see you again in the next hour,
Thank you,
actually. Thank you, ma'am. Keep it on.